In this tutorial, we're going to talk about advanced options within sequences. So what we're going to talk about here is how to market specifically to interests that are registered as clicks to your audience. So when somebody receives an email, they click a link, and based on what it was that they clicked, they are now put into another sequence. So you can now drip relevant content based on your audience's interest. This can continue for as long as you want it to be. You have some examples here on screen that indicate, 5 drips in each sequence, etc. You can make these sequences as short or as long as you want them to be. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is convert your contacts that are receiving these emails into paying customers. So you do that a couple of ways. We're going to take a look at this. We're going to talk about how we drive them to a landing page to get them some information based on the link that they're clicking. This is how they register their interest. And then after that, the other thing is that if we don't sell to them immediately, we want to make sure that we stay in front of them, generating more content based on their interests. Okay, so that's exactly what's happening here. So let's take a look at this practical example in real life and how this can work. Okay, so before we get started with this tutorial, what I want to do is get our bearings on everything we're going to be including within this particular tutorial. So the first thing, as always, is I have templates. And in this exercise, we have 3 templates that are created. The first one is going to be the main email that goes out. The second one is going to be the 2 options that people would have clicked on in order to get these emails, and we'll see how that comes into play in just a moment. So I have those 3. Then what I have over here is going to be my follow-up sequences, and as you can see, I have 1 template per sequence. Okay, we'll talk about some of the things you can do as we get into the particular exercise that has to do with the sequences, but at the same time, I'm just going to make this as simple as possible, straightforward, so you can replicate this kind of exercise when you're doing your own testing. Next, I have a contact which I'm going to use to send this sequence to, okay, and then we'll see how when he engages with one of those emails, how it automatically sends the next email to him. I also have a landing page on my website that I've created, okay, so it's a call to action to go to the site, maybe download a white paper or something, but ultimately we'll see that I want to get that contact's information and build a lead off of them. And then finally, we'll look at this coming into an email and what this looks like. Okay, we'll see it in action. So these are the tabs that I have that are open right now. So let's get right into it. We're going to go back over here and we're going to start with the templates. What I've done here at a very high level is I've started with 1 template, and I open this up, and you'll see that when I go into the design view, I have a message that's basically trying to determine whether or not my recipient likes motorcycles or cars. Okay, so I'm dumbing this down to basics. What I'm doing is I'm giving them information that I think that they're interested in, and then I'm going to ask them to click on a button enticing them to get more information, and in the process I am going to put them in a new sequence. So let's see what we're doing here. Let's do the cars. We'll click on the cars over here, and then I'm going to go click on the link. So when my link box appears on screen, what's happening is that I'm saying when this link is clicked, go to this URL. Okay, by the way, this URL happens to be this particular URL here. So I want to capture some information from them. We'll talk about this in just a moment. And then what I'd like to do, start the marketing sequence for cars. I've now determined, because they've clicked this, that they're interested in cars, so I want to give them more relevant content. Okay? At the same time, I also have the option to end this particular sequence or any other sequence for that matter. Okay? So I want to make sure that I don't overdo my marketing to them. So if they've clicked on cars, a recommendation I would be is to end the sequence that you're currently that they currently use, just so you can keep that even flow going along and now drip relevant content to them about those cars. So very important. The reason why we're doing this is we're trying to make a lead out of this particular contact. We're trying to gather some information from them so we can get their phone number, an email address, a name, etc., into our leads and opportunities in Mothernode, and that way we can take action, whatever that action may be. You can put them into another sequence, which is a personal plain text drip trying to engage them for a phone call, or you can pick up the phone and call them directly. It's entirely up to you, but now we've captured that information. Should we not capture that information, and they just come to this page, at least now that they've clicked the button, they're going to be placed into another sequence, and hopefully, because we've captured what their interest is, we can continue to market to them based on those interests. And we saw in the beginning slide, as those interests evolve or change, we can continue to follow those interests by letting them click on other items and begin to start other sequences that can market to them directly. Okay, but ultimately what we're trying to do is get them into our database so we can start to work that business. Now, as far as landing pages are concerned, there's a variety of different services and sources you can do. Some people use Unbounce as landing pages. Other people can do them just directly within their website. We're going to do this here directly within our website. So a couple things you may want to do for inspiration: provide them with white papers to download, where they can go ahead and they can click on something of interest, or drive them directly to a white paper, okay, so they can grab this information. They automatically become a lead within your CRM, okay? So you can also do that with your blogs. If you want to engage people with relevant articles, this is the way that you can do that. And again, we continue to market to them regardless whether or not they fill out this information. Okay, so we now have our 3 templates. And we saw how the links work to activate another sequence as well as take us to the landing page for the car. So we have our template that's going to be used for a car, and the template is going to be for the motorcycle. And then, of course, the action that we're going to perform is that once this person clicks on the motorcycle link, it'll start this sequence. And if they click on the car link, it'll start the car sequence over here. So now that we have these, I'm going to go over here to my sequences, which of course can be found underneath marketing and follow-up sequences. Okay, so now I have my list of my sequences here. So let's just take a look at the first one, which is the main one, the content marketing one, that's going to include the links to both of these different other sequences, the one that's going to start for the motorcycles and the car. You can see that I've just made this to go out 7 days a week at any time, so I can activate this, and it's to go out as soon as possible. Okay, so I want to just enter anybody into the sequence at any specific time. Again, observe some rules. If you're B2B, I would usually do Monday through Friday. If you're retail, you're 7 days a week. So just things like that to observe. And then over here, let's go back and take a look at one of the other sequences that we made for the car. You can see that we've done the exact same thing Monday through Friday, or Monday through Sunday rather. Then over here we have as soon as possible. So that means that in this particular instance, the moment that the link is clicked, the person will automatically be added to the sequence, which is typical of any case, but the delivery method is going to be as soon as possible. What you may want to do to spread that out is, something like 5 days later, 5 days after they're added to the sequence, so it's not so congested within their inbox. Unless you're promising them some information immediately, then I would say do that as soon as possible. Okay, so of course the motorcycle sequence looks the exact same way as this one. All right, so I'm going to click back over here. We're on this screen. Now let's go take a look at one of our contacts. And this is going to be adding an individual contact into this. You can look at the videos on how to add mass contacts at the same time, etc. But in this case, we're going to do adding an individual at this, right here. And I'm going to go Manage Sequences. And then over here, I can choose from my categories, content marketing. And then, of course, I have my content marketing sequence right here. We could automatically fire the car if we know that they're interested in cars immediately, or we can automatically fire the motorcycle one. But in this case, we don't know. We're just acting blind. We're soliciting this person. We're trying to engage them, and we'll let them pick their interest. So over here, we're going to do fire the content marketing one. And I'm going to click Add to Follow-Up Sequence. And then, of course, now you can see it's scheduled, and we'll see that appear in the inbox in just a few minutes. Okay, so here I am in my inbox, and you can see I have the brand new email, the Content Marketing 101, see it in action. So I open this up, and then of course now all the merge field placeholders are sent over to me. They're indicating my company, etc. It's personalized. And then down below, you can see I have the options. Do I want to take a motorcycle? Am I interested in motorcycles, or am I interested in cars? So we've been using cars. Let's click on the cars link. And then what will happen is, as expected, we're heading over to the landing page. So again, we're trying to entice them to put in their information, to give us more information, so perhaps we want to give a white paper and so on, like we were saying earlier in this exercise. However, if they choose not to provide us this information, or at this point maybe there is no form, maybe we're just giving them some relevant content that they can read and look at, and then they can contact us on their own, regardless of what's going to happen here, we can now put them in future drips. So if they don't provide us this information, they don't engage with us right now, basically they are now put into another sequence. So let's take a look at that. When I go back over here to the contact, David Waters, I'm going to close this window here. And now when I open it back up, you can see that the relevant content marketing has already been processed, it's been sent, but now the relevant cars has been initiated. So this person has automatically been put into this drip. They're going to receive the relevant cars one momentarily. So let's close this. We'll go back over here to the email and we'll just wait to see when this pops in. And here we go. We now have car of the month that was automatically sent to us. And you can see here that email template has been sent. This is a great way to deliver this relevant content to your leads and prospects and hopefully continue to generate interest, enough interest for them to convert to being a customer in this case, okay? So you're really speaking to their unique needs. The one thing I would say about this is that just make sure that when you've crafted your different sequences, that you're ending certain sequences and beginning new ones, as opposed to using multiple at the same time. That can overwhelm people, and that's your fastest way to becoming an unsubscribe. So see what you can do. Take these same exercises, try them out within your own organization, set up a sequence, 3 sequences and 3 templates, do the exact same thing here, drip them and then see what it looks like for you, and then ultimately you're on your way to doing some fantastic marketing and hopefully converting a lot more business this way. This concludes this tutorial. Thanks for joining.